These people took debt from the year 2014. Part of that debt didn't land in Kenya. I'll pick the Eurobonds, for example. They took 2 billion US dollars Eurobond. At that time, Jacob Juma, there's a gentleman, I think it's called Owiti, and even David Ndii was in that group. ODM convened them, and they went through to trace the movement of that money. And right at that point, even threatened to lead Kenyans to storm Treasury building to release where the money went. Upon that threat, Treasury released the first proof of payment. They released the RTGS form, which showed 1 billion US dollars was used to settle part of a loan that would be taken by Kibaki, and part of that money was paid into a CBK account. Correct, accounted for. The second part, 1 billion US dollars, at that time is almost 100 billion Kenya shillings. When they demanded for the information to be released, they released a form. It's in the public domain to date. And that form shows money moving from JP Morgan to another bank, and the account to which it is going in Qatar is redacted. You cannot see the name of the person to whom that money is being made. That is 1 billion US dollars in your debt books. In other words, somebody went to America or to the European market and took a Eurobond of 2 billion US dollars in your name. He made you to be responsible for paying that debt. And he did not apply that money to any project in Kenya. He did not procure parliamentary approval for that money. But what the Kenyan people ended up with is a responsibility to pay for that money. We did pay for that money sometimes, I think it was in end of June. And at that time, now when we were paying for it, we refinanced it. We took a fresh one at an interest rate of 10.35%. At the time of taking in 2014, the interest rate was 6%. And there are so many other such loans which are taken in our name. If you go to our PFM Act, it is very clear. You can only borrow money for a project. You only borrow money for development. You are seeing Kenyan government every day issuing, every week they issue treasury bonds and bills. They're telling you this bond and bill is going to finance which project. You are just saying 20 billion floated. People take out that loan and they come back to you. When the bank takes these loans, they are using your money, using my money that I have deposited in the bank. Then they go to my government to take a treasury bill or bond that is not pegged on any project. Government takes it to eat it. Once they eat that money, the government comes to me and you and collects an exorbitant interest rate to pay for that loan. Now, interest rate is at 16%. When they take that interest rate of 16%, they do two things. Number one, you are burdened with the high interest rate that you're going to pay from your tax money. And number two, even if you wanted to do your own project as an individual, they know here I wanted to go and expand his food business. He goes to the bank tells him, they know, I will only give you a loan at an interest rate of 22%. Why? Because the bank prefers to lend money to government because government will pay for that money and will come back to the people of Kenya as a sovereign to cushion it. They know it's seen as now a credit risk. In fact, you are not even wanted in that banking space. Now, many Kenyans cannot access capital because of government borrowing illegally in the domestic market, burdening Kenyans with high interest rates and denying them an opportunity to even borrow for their own private ventures. That is why you are not seeing any development. What today, as we speak, what is stimulating development in this country? If government is not doing any project, where's the flow of money? When I'm not putting up, expanding my law firm, or somebody is not expanding his business, where's the flow of money? Because I go to a bank to take a loan to put up a fish farm in Kisumu. That bank will tell me they want an interest rate of 20%, 25%. Why? Because government is borrowing at 16%, 17%. They rather lend to government. Now, I cannot access that credit. The government money that was borrowed was used to Fuliza, to eat. Was not used to build a road, to build a bridge, to build a dam. It was all eaten. So we must be very careful as a country and decide, number one, Any money that has been borrowed in our names that was not done in a way that conforms with our laws, that money, we have no responsibility to pay for it. It is an odious debt. If we go that route, and I do remember when I was in Mozambique, when President Nyusi had just been elected, there was something that had been taken similar to our Eurobond. It was called tuna bond. Again, 2 billion US dollars that was taken in the name of the people of Mozambique. The money never came into Mozambique. They were only told to pay for it. So some public spirited members of the public, civil society groups, went to court and they sued the Attorney General and their parliament. Their parliament was saying that tuna bond is legal. We must pay for it. The AG was saying that tuna bond must be paid for. But the people of Mozambique were saying no. Where was parliamentary approval for tuna bond to be taken? Bring it to court. None existed. The court in Mozambique said that loan is illegal, it is odious, and the people of Mozambique will not have to pay for it. Do you know what happened? Credit Suisse collapsed. They had to pay that money. So even us, we must look into our debt books and say, anybody who took money in our name without following our laws, you took money that didn't apply to any project. It is not the responsibility of the people of Kenya to pay for that loan. We must unshackle ourselves from this yoke of oppression, both internationally and locally. Internationally, they are the Eurobonders, that is the Paris Club, the London Sovereign Group. Locally are the domestic banks. We must start asking them, when you are taking a loan from the Kenyan government, what is the project that that loan is funding, number one? Number two, where is the parliamentary approval for that loan that allows government to float a bond or a bill? You saw William Ruto last week on TV when he was saying, because you rejected finance bill, I will now borrow 1 trillion Kenya shillings. I mean, how can someone casually commit the people of Kenya to take a loan of 1 trillion Kenya shillings? He's not even told you what loan, what project does he want to fund? He's not even told you where's the parliamentary approval, but he's telling you, I'm going to take a loan of 1 trillion Kenya shillings. You people of Kenya, you must pay for it. You must tell him, no, we are a country of the rule of law. The sovereign people of Kenya have even said in rejecting the finance bill, if you think that this country will only develop through loans, then suspend that development. We don't need it at this particular point because you are taking these loans and applying it to things that don't matter to the people. You are not building any new road. You are not building any new bridge. You are not building any new dam. So we must be able to call him to order. Another thing that I must mention, this space that we occupy, we must jealously guard it. When William Ruto came to space last week, he was not coming to space because he loves this space. No, he was coming here to take it over. They've been the kings of the streets because on the streets they are able to manipulate our young people. They are able to pay some people to disrupt, to control the political conversation. But on the social media, he does not have control over this particular platform. This is a citizen's platform, and this platform must be guarded and protected to posterity. Any politician who will come here or who will come into leadership in this country, even myself who has said I should be compared with Rigathi Gachagua, I believe I'm a better deputy president than him, if the time came. That politician must be told, you are not coming here to be our boss. You are coming into public space to be our servant, and you must be reporting back to the Kenyan people on space. You must hear that bullshit that they tell you every day. You must hear when they tell you fag off. You must hear it. You must respond to everything they're saying, whether you like it or not. I may not agree to the use of a particular type of language, but the Kenyan people who have put you in an office have a right to express themselves in the best way that they know how. If somebody's best way to express himself to say fuck off, then you must fuck off and listen to him. You must give him the respect to express himself, and you must do that which you believe is going to give him dignity when it comes to their governance. And finally, the point that you raised, Amerix, I say this. We must focus on the prize. The prize is a better governance. Kenya Kwanza may not give us that governance. And I urge our people, do not despair. When you see a regime using all the arsenals and all the tools that have been used before, just know that you're doing the right thing. They started with the police. The Kenyan people overwhelmed the police with love. They tried tear gas, they tried water cannons. It was overwhelming. They went for the army. You are told now the army is out on the streets. The Kenyan people are overwhelming the army with love. Because these are people who are just appearing with water bottles and flags, saying, we are fighting for a better Kenya. Now they've resorted to the last arsenal that's normally used by falling regimes, is to start getting goons to infiltrate, try to buy some of who are perceived to be the spear leaders or the ringleaders of the movement. People was that is not a leader, Amerix is not a leader, they know he's not a leader, Wanyakuni is not a leader, Otero was not a leader. There's nobody who is leading this thing.